Okay, let me start with the 40 million. That's the Canadian population right now. Okay? Then 2.2 million is the estimated population of non-permanent residents. And then the 1.13 million population, it was fueled by immigration. And the question those figures and projections raise is this: is Canada ready in the midst of both housing crisis and healthcare crisis to deal with that many more people? Like, if you become, if you are the Prime Minister of Canada, what would you do? What would be your initial plans to deal with this crisis?
We need to build more homes. We have the fewest homes per capita of any country in the G7, even though we have the most land to build on. In fact, after 8 years of Justin Trudeau, we have fewer homes per capita than we did when he started, and that's because our population is outgrowing home building. Now, we can build way more homes. In fact, last year we built fewer homes than we did in 1972, 50 years earlier. So I don't understand how it is that with twice the population, we can't build more homes. The answer is that we have way too much bureaucracy and taxes blocking home building. And I have a common sense plan to link the number of federal dollars that cities get to the number of houses they allow to be completed. I'll require they boost home building by 15% per year, or they will lose federal money. But those that beat the target will get a building bonus. We're also going to require every federally funded transit station be pre-approved for high-density apartments, so people can live next to the bus or train. I'm going to sell off 6,000 acres of federal land and 6,000 buildings and thousands of acres of federal land, so that we can build millions of new homes. That's how we're going to house the people who are in this country. And we're going to link the number of immigrants who are permitted entry to Canada to the number of homes that are available to house them.
Oh, would that include the international students? Well, I think 900,000 international students are coming in every year. Like, will there be a cap?
There has to be. When I'm Prime Minister, I will require that every approved international student permit has to go only to people who have housing. So they have to prove that they can house themselves before coming in. And I'm going to say to the colleges and universities, if you want these students, you have to have a plan to house them. We can't just have them arrive and live under bridges or stuffed 8 or 9 of them into one-bedroom apartments. That's what's happening now after 8 years of Justin Trudeau. Our international students are living in hell. They're being sold to human traffickers. They're getting hooked on drugs. They're being sold into gangs because they arrive here. They can't find a place to live. Often they're robbed by the fake education program that they were sold on. They are unsafe, and they're going back in body bags. That's what's happening after 8 years of Trudeau. So I'm going to restore order in the system by requiring every new permit, every new visa to come as an international student be linked to an available house, and that we protect students against frauds by fake universities or fake colleges, and so that you come here to study, you really do study. It's not a roundabout way to get in for some other purpose.
That's a good plan.
Thank you.
For me, I know international students who are cramped in 12 students cramped in the two-bedroom house.
It's insane.
And two bedrooms, two baths, 1.5 baths. So, but how urgent would that be how urgent would your plans be? Like in your position, sir?
It's an emergency. Justin Trudeau has caused, I think, a humanitarian crisis in Canada with his total mismanagement of the international student program. They are living on streets. They're dying. They're literally dying of drug overdoses. They're being sold into prostitution. They're being exploited by unscrupulous employers who pay them below minimum wage outside of the labor regulations, and they're forced into the black market economy. This is a very dangerous situation that Trudeau has unleashed. And when I'm Prime Minister, we're going to restore order, and we're going to crack down on the greedy, criminal corporations and consultants that have exploited these wonderful young people.
Thank you for that initiative, sir. Now, I'm focusing on behalf of the Filipino communities here in Canada. Inflation and the cost of living is also a focus of debate in the House of Commons. Now, what would be, would you kindly let us know or let us understand the measures that you would do to help tackle this, inflation?
Yes, after 8 years of Trudeau, his government is not worth the cost. He's doubled housing costs. He's given us the worst inflation in 40 years. Interest rates are rising faster than at any time in monetary history. This is the direct result of Trudeau's policies. He doubled the national debt. He printed $600 billion of new money. More money bidding on the same goods equals higher prices. So my common sense plan,
yes, sir,
caps spending with a new dollar for dollar law that requires that every time a minister brings in new spending, he'll have to find an equal amount of savings within his department to pay for it. Second, I'm going to go line by line to cut waste, like the ArriveCan app, $54 million now under criminal investigation. The Trudeau Technology Fund now embroiled in a scandal where we don't know where some of the money went, and Liberal insiders have been getting rich. The $250 million given to the Asian Infrastructure Bank to build pipelines and bridges for China. Why would we do that? Why don't we build pipelines and bridges for Canadians? I would get rid of that. I will review all of our foreign aid to make sure none of it goes to terrorists, dictators, or multinational bureaucracies. We're going to cut back on the outrageous contracts that we're giving to big consulting firms. They now gobble up $21 billion. That's $1,400 for every family in Canada spent on consultants for the federal government. This is insane. We have a public service that's 50% bigger than it was when Trudeau took office. Why can't the bureaucrats do the work instead of farming it out to $2,000 a day consultants? We're going to cut the waste, balance the budget to bring down inflation and interest rates. I'll axe the carbon tax to lower gas, heat, and grocery bills. And my common sense plan requires cities permit 15% more home building per year, or they'll lose federal money. But those that beat the target will get more money, so that we incentivize them to clear the bureaucracy and taxes so we can build millions and millions of affordable homes that will put roof over the head of our working people.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And my last question is regarding the Blue Seal certification
Yes.
for our healthcare professionals.
Yes.
What are the updates, sir?
Well, this is this policy is really special in helping our Filipino Canadians achieve their full potential. The ambassador from the Philippines told me that something like 85% of Filipino nurses are blocked from working in our hospitals because they have no path to prove their qualifications. In the States, the Filipino immigrants take an international exam, they can get to work within a month. I want to do the same thing here. We have a red seal for the trades. I want to just bring in a blue seal test for the professions. So if you come here as a nurse, you quickly take a test, prove you're qualified, you get a blue seal stamp, and that will qualify you to work anywhere in Canada as a nurse or a doctor, an architect, an engineer, any of the licensed professions will have a test called the Blue Seal, and it will be quick, fast, and not bureaucratic. Also, for those that are just short of our standard in Canada, I'm going to provide a small study loan so that they can take time off work, study, pass the test, and get to work. And finally, I'm going to make it possible for future immigrants to begin working on getting licensed before they even arrive. So if you're coming from Manila, you're a nurse, you know that you're waiting on your application to come, here's a module to start working through, and maybe even we could have centers in Manila or anywhere else in the world where they could go and do their testing beforehand. They arrive in Canada already licensed and immediately working.
That's great to hear.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's common sense.
It is common sense.
We need
Very
nurses. We have a nursing shortage. I was in BC the other day. They're actually shutting down emergency rooms. Like literally in towns where there's no emergency room, they shut the place down. So if you're having a medical emergency in a town like Oliver, BC, you can't go and get treated. They have Filipino nurses in those towns who can't work.
Right.
And so this is not just hurting immigrants, this is hurting all of us. We need nurses and doctors, and my common sense Blue Seal plan will make sure that they can work.
Great, great.
Thank
great.
you.
That is all, sir. So.
Thank you very much. Good to be with you.
My pleasure. It is
Thank you.
a privilege here.
Yes.
So.